As a business person, you want to maintain control of your emotions. My name is Paul Vasquez with TaxLab, and you need to become an ethical millionaire. It can be easy to get upset about situations in business and in life. But in order to inspire confidence from those around you, whether that's an opponent on an argument of some kind or negotiation, whether that is a teammate, whether that's a customer, a client, you want to do your best to maintain control of your emotions. Not that you have to necessarily bury those emotions or hide them, but you want to learn how to manage them in a healthy way. I think the first thing is being able to recognize that you're having an emotional reaction to something. And then next is deciding whether or not you want to let that emotion come out, how much you want it to come out or be evident to those around you. Now, you might say, well, isn't it more authentic to just let it fly? Well, not really, because just because something happens and you might feel a certain way, you can still choose how you want to react to that. And the choices you make say something about the character of who you are. So it can be very authentic to the person you believe yourself to be, or the hopes and dreams of the person that you are, to not let the emotion control you, but for you to decide how that emotion should come out, if at all. Oftentimes, anger does not help a situation. And so it can oftentimes, more often than not, I've never looked back or know of anyone who's looked back at a moment of anger and said, wow, that was the best way to handle the situation, or that made the situation better in some way. Oftentimes, the answer to the question or the problem is just around the corner. And at the moment, you can't see it because you haven't looked at that angle. All you're seeing is what's in front of you now. So a spout of anger might not even be justified. You might just be getting a mixed signal as to how big of a problem it actually is. So before you have a chance to really decide how problematic something is or how much it should upset you, it's probably a good idea to recognize that you're feeling that emotion on the inside and put a pause on it and decide if that is the emotion that's most appropriate for that situation. This is part of becoming an adult, part of growing up, is that just because you're feeling a certain way doesn't mean you have to put that emotion out there, that you should be affecting other people in that way. Just like you wouldn't hit somebody physically, sometimes it's a good idea to decide whether or not your emotional reaction to something could affect somebody in a negative way and whether or not that's appropriate in the situation. Most of the time when it comes to business, it is best to maintain an even kill. Now, I smile a lot, I laugh a lot, I enjoy conversations. And so because of that, I'm oftentimes on the happy side, but it's real easy to let a big emotion also come out on the negative side. And so you want to be in control of you. You want to be in control of your emotions. You don't want them to control you, and you don't want them to make a bad situation worse or worse than it needs to be. And so you do want to be able to decide the emotions that you show and how you show those emotions. That's called self-control. And having that self-control is what could enable you to solve problems faster and more efficiently than if you just let your emotions control and dictate your actions and reactions. And so I am constantly impressed by the other business owners out there that I interact with because I see in them very often very good examples. Same with team members. We see very good examples about how to maintain a positive outlook because many problems can be solved and might be solved just around the corner. And so having that much investment in being upset over something that's very small is often a waste of time. It's often makes things worse than it needs to be. So if you want to be an ethical millionaire, it's not just about the actions that you may or may not do. It's also about the emotions that you project on other people and whether or not that is an ethical thing to do. Is it ethical to use your emotions to manipulate certain situations? That's often what emotions start off with. It's an outward expression of a feeling in order to motivate others to do something. And it's not necessarily always bad either. You can have positive emotions that inspire people, that help people get through tough times and difficult situations to come to a better solution. And oftentimes those better solutions are more often reached and repeated many times when it's done through positive motivators. It's hard to get somebody to repeat an action or something that you'd like them or motivate them to do in a business setting if it's always needs a motivation of fear, right? That they have to do this or else, right? That they're avoiding fear. If they're running towards pleasure or joy or happiness or contentment, it's something that they'll probably want to go to over and over again. So for those who want to run an ethical ship, who want to be ethical millionaires, and who have opportunities to interact in our economy, decide, feel those emotions and decide for yourself how you want those emotions to come out if they're appropriate in those situations. We at TaxLab like to help people improve and be those ethical millionaires, so join us at taxlab.club. Hope to see you there, and I wish you all the success.